Stephen Trigg, CEO of the Adelaide Football Club in Dubai, looking slightly jet-lagged, if I don't mind that. You don't mind me saying that, Triggy.
Didn't get a lot of sleep last night, I must admit.
Having been here a few days ourselves, I find myself questioning why. I mean, what's in it for football? What's in it for the Adelaide Crows? Can you give us a perspective there?
Well, I think, Cornsey, what do I gather from listening to 10 seconds of you prior to sitting down, it must be some criticism of all this.
We had a caller.
Just one caller.
Just one caller.
Okay.
By and large, it's been...
brutally, he said it's a junket for some of the board men.
And we said, look, you know, they don't get many...
Footy must be back on the radar. Tennis, cricket's gone, and cycling. What's in it for us? I think Cornsey had best explained, from my perspective, in three ways. One is that it's immersing ourselves in an issue of game development for the AFL. For us, there are a couple of key things that we're doing for Toyota, who have a very significant presence here in the Middle East.
There's a factory opening tonight.
There's a factory opening tonight for Gerard Industries' very own Peerlight. So it's a really significant thing, and the Sheikh is coming to it. So our presence there, from Robert's perspective, our patron, is very important. And so that's been on the cards for some time, and we're pleased to immerse ourselves in that. But you know, the other thing, Cornsey, is that and our club hasn't been overseas now for quite some time. Probably our last genuine trip of this nature was in 2000 when we went to play the exhibition game at the end of the year. It is just such a wonderful thing for 15 of our players who've never been overseas. It's such a wonderful thing for the vast majority. We couldn't bring everybody, but we've brought a good number of our honorarium type staff who bust their backside for the vast majority of a full season, day in and day out, and give their heart and soul.
And get nothing in return.
And get nothing, next to nothing in return, but a bit of travel money. So, look, honestly, for them, it is such a unique, once-in-a-lifetime almost experience. And so if you add all those things up, I'm 100% convinced that despite the distance, despite some of the questions that may be raised in various places about why here and not regional South Australia, which I understand, it is a once-in-a-while job, and it's a terrific exercise for our club.
Are we likely to see more of this, Stephen?
Well, I think across the competition you will, and other clubs, to be candid, do immerse themselves in it in various parts of the world. You've just seen a game played in South Africa, an exhibition game. For us, we're not going to do it every year, simply not. It's a very expensive exercise, but it's also an exercise that, as I said, has its upside for a number of people in our club. No,
there's no better team building exercise than for guys to be travelling and be with them. Even if there's adverse conditions, it hasn't been an easy trip. It's a long trip. Conditions here aren't ideal. Luckily, it's a lot cooler than we expected. The caller was, and I think we defended the club well, but the likes of Andrew Payes, who fine player that he was for the Crows, now a board member, he's here. So he's saying, well, why are these blokes here?
Well, on one level, it's nobody's business, but at another level, to be fair to our own supporters and members who would want to know, who probably have a right to know, is that we have brought the chairman, which is fair call. Andrew Payes, as the football director, is here at the club cost, and all other directors have paid their own way, including their families. They've paid their own way.
Oh, well, there you go.
Including, in some cases, for their families on a once-in-a-while trip. So they've paid their way. The only ones who have been paid for are the chairman and our football director.
Well, there you go, Dave.
That's answered the
I think
question.
that's a very effective answer there.
And have the boys settled in, Steve?
Oh, good. Yesterday was they were tired. We had a great day yesterday. We arrived at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I think guys had varying amounts of sleep from an hour to a couple of 3 or 4 hours. But we arrived at the hotel having had a little bingle in the bus, which I think you knew about, and we didn't get here until 7 o'clock in the morning. Everyone tried to stay awake to get your body clock back in order, and then middle of yesterday afternoon, again at our patrons' generosity, we headed off into the desert. 26 Toyota Land Cruisers. Of course, there just happened to be that vehicle, but that was good. 26 Land Cruisers, and we went out into genuinely out into the desert, and it was...
Any horses out there?
No horses, but camels. Wild camels.
Well, you can ride he wants to ride this Arabian bloody horse through the deserts.
I could see that, actually.
We'll get him a camel.
You could ride your Harley to the yard. That'd be cool. Look, it was a fascinating thing. It was just such a different thing for everyone to do. So we drove way out into the desert, and there are locals there who are dressed as you would expect in the full regalia. There are camel farms. We saw falcons coming off the arms of trainers to do these things.
Gosh.
And these four-wheel drive guys who've been well experienced in driving for years, like rat patrol over the sand dunes and sideways down these massive dunes. And you think it wasn't exciting. I mean, honestly, it was just something so different. And then we settled into
I've been thinking whether
a feast around a campfire.
Yeah,
It was terrific.
We've got the same thing lined up tomorrow, but I'm thinking whether you should go or not go. It just sounds like a fantastic...
Look, you'll love it. It's and we're here to play. we are here to
come
play.
back at the moment.
But you don't come this far without trying to understand and appreciate a little bit more of the culture. And that's what you guys, if you are, you must do it. Don't pull out.
Well,
it's wonderful.
You don't get much of an idea from the culture here in Dubai itself, do you? Because it's
Not
almost,
in a hotel,
as westernised as any country I've been to.
Now, we spoke with Craig yesterday, Stephen. He's going to give the younger players more responsibility, playing in sort of keepers for the midfield and so forth. So it'll be based along those sort of lines?
I spoke to Neil this morning. I think that there are half a dozen guys who've either not played or have only played a couple of games that are going to represent us on Saturday. So yeah, all that process starts now. You know that we're wanting to win this game, by the way, and keen to do well in the pre-season competition. But we're in this process of evolution where we're continuing to develop our young men as quickly as we can, and we'll start to see that on the weekend.
Tell us about the relationship with Rob Gerard, and amazing that he has a factory here. Your patron. That's one of the reasons you're here. But we hear the name Gerard, and he's in the news for various different things. But what does he mean to the Adelaide Footy Club?
Well, an enormous amount. Clearly, superficially, the generosity that he extends to our club in terms of trips to South Africa, going back many years through to some aspects of this trip, and the camaraderie and team building exercises that might be attached to just heading out on the coast with it, on his boat and so forth. So some of his generosity, as South Australians moreover know, is quite extraordinary. But that's the easy part to explain. The harder part is perhaps a little more of the leader of the tribe that he loves to be, and we love him to be in regard to, I suppose, the support that he provides to a number of people in our footy club, including Faye,
his
wife, who is almost the matriarch of our club in terms of her support of our players' partners, the wives and girlfriends throughout the club. She hosts them at home. She's often in contact, off the cuff with a number of them. And so the Gerards are wonderful people for South Australia, and in particular for our club, they provide outstanding support.
Does it surprise you that such a significant corporate person and society figurehead reaches down and touches a footy club and all aspects of a footy club, which really covers the whole spectrum of society, doesn't it? But he could be such an exclusive, untouchable individual.
Very far from that. He's got a very tough business exterior, and it's fascinating to have spent most of yesterday afternoon with him and hear his insights about this